It was a very strange surprise last year when I visited a large pharmaceutical company and I was introduced as the inventor of the anti-TNF, which was just about to become the biggest drug class. The sales of anti-TNF have been very high. The patents on statins had been going off, and so 2012 was the year that there was a transition in sales with anti-TNF being dominant. And it's interesting to reflect how this has happened and the contribution of many scientists into that development. But what is really interesting, especially for immunologists, is the fact that from now on, about half of the world's best-selling drugs are the products of the immune system. Monoclonal antibodies and fusion proteins between receptors and an immunoglobulin backbone. The monoclonal antibodies that are selling well are both not only drugs that block TNF, such as infliximab that we worked with, but also adalimumab, receptor fusion proteins like etanercept. These are all targeted to anti-TNF, but there are also best-selling anti-cancer drugs. Rituximab that targets CD20, Herceptin that targets the HER2 receptor, and Avastin that targets VEGF. Now, my role in the discovery of anti-TNF as a therapeutic started a long time ago, almost 30 years ago, when I had developed a new hypothesis that antigen presentation was an important step in the induction of autoimmune diseases. So while anti-TNF has been typically used for chronic diseases, first rheumatoid arthritis, then Crohn's disease, then ulcerative colitis, then psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis, and ankylosing spondylitis, it's important to remember that tumor necrosis factor is a very important host defense. It's one of the body's fire alarms, which is triggered very quickly after a whole range of tissue damage events. Therefore, it should be possible to use anti-TNF for treating acute diseases. And one of the major unmet needs is for the better treatment of injuries, burns, and other acute complications. We're particularly interested in the use of anti-TNF to prevent post-operative complications. And one of the major post-operative complications in elderly people is loss of memory and other cognitive function, a process called post-operative cognitive disorder. And this is a project I've been working with a colleague, first in London, but he's moved to San Francisco, Mervyn Mays. And one of the possibilities is it may be possible to prevent this post-operative brain damage by pre-treatment with anti-TNF or other therapeutics.